Hey everybody, this is Scott Bowman, creator behind Idea Brickworks, with another episode of Brick Building Together Apart, Season 2. Who would know that the Season 1 would have 16 episodes? So we are starting with Season 2, and this is kind of I called it the regular show. So over the course of last year, I built I had a group of friends, but now I've added to that. And so these are the regulars. I've got Mr. B, otherwise known as Sam 2, Sam Jones, of course, from England, and Peter from right here in Boise. He's the only one that's close by. And of course, Joe Chambers from that state that borders us to the south.
Oh boy.
Nevada.
Now, I was going to start this out like previously on Brick Building Together Apart. A lot has happened. Obviously, I've been spending quite a bit of time in Maryland on my daughter's major project. Luckily, I'm back so I can rest. I'm not having to work nearly as much. I'm kind of not used to that, being early retired. So that's good. Obviously, COVID exploded everywhere again. So Sam is in major lockdown. I think everybody is somewhat locked down again, and except of course California is opening back up again. But and Idaho, our state legislators trying to get rid of all, they want to legislate away COVID. Anyway. Also, everybody's kind of got different projects going. So I think over the course of this show, we're going to talk about our individual projects, things we've been doing, and where you might find out about that and work with it. I think each of us wants to ask questions of the others. We all kind of depend on each other to help as we're putting together projects or as we're considering something. We're a pretty collaborative bunch. And of course, it's all pretty much oriented around space, right? So manned or crewed exploration of the low Earth orbit all the way to high Earth orbit and beyond. So with that, I guess I'm going to go first, because guess what?
Sure.
It's my show. And I'll cry if I want to. Okay, so Peter was my collaborator, both on my project and one with Joe. He's collaborated on a couple projects with me. But one of them are some really fun printed plates. I had the idea because I really liked the space station and the printed plate that came with it. I thought that was kind of the start of something, although Lego hasn't done that on some of their other kits. So I decided I wanted one for the orbiter, which I'll talk about in a minute. But then I thought, why not do one for Apollo? So Peter and I came up with this fun plate that shows the Saturn V and then that journey from the Earth to the moon with the LEM and command module and service module. And I want to offer, so here's my normal kit. Cue the banner, Mr. Jones. Although I'm out right now, I'm in the process of my Etsy store is decimated. Thank you very much, everyone. So I've got to restock it. But so we had talked about it, and I think everybody has agreed that this is not good. Is that correct? We don't like the cube.
Yeah, probably not as much as the just standalone sort of thing.
So not that it's not good. Yeah. The other one's better.
I think this is simple. What about colors? Do you think? I've been playing around with yellow. I don't know. Do you think just the gray, like it's on concrete, or Do you think a color would be fun? If so, what color?
Pink. Dark pink.
um,
I'll be quiet. Honest.
yeah, that would probably be very helpful, Sam. You know, the only, I mean, Mr. B can also speak to this, but the only color on the Saturn V launch pad besides the gray was a lot of yellow, just around the engine. What would we call it?
Well,
the engine blast hole.
Yeah.
I forget what the term was,
What was that?
but yeah.
Well, it's a warning
There's
that you're coming up to the edge, right?
What
Well,
was the engine service platform?
Yeah, which was
It was-
removed before launch.
Yeah.
So yellow would be kind of interesting. I guess I could try it in yellow and see what it looks like.
I think it would
But-
stand out too much.
You think? Yeah.
That might be the problem.
Well, and I think I'm going to show it and suggest that the flames come off because I think it looks better just sitting on the platform. Okay, well, I'll do a yellow one and get it out to the crew and we'll see what.
See what it looks like.
So then the other side of this was my soon to be released orbiter, which is getting closer and closer. So we have this really fun orbiter plate, again, designed by Mr. Peter. And I've added it to the standalone platform so it can add on to this one. But then I also added it to the overall, which I guess it's going to be kind of hard to see, isn't it? So this was I put it on the other side and I kind of changed it. I used to have this one taller. Maybe it's easier to see without the orbiter there. But I think this works. And I think what you guys misunderstood in the chat, what I meant, what I was originally thinking is I'm only going to provide one plate with one hinge in the kit. You can either put it on the standalone stand or you put it on the docked stand, which is what I'm calling this. And what I was actually asking is, what if some of these parts were part of this? Should I duplicate it? And then when I finish my design, it turns out very few parts are the same. So it doesn't really matter. So what you could do is build my docked and then you still have that and go back. So
What's the cost difference if you provided parts for both versus providing parts for just the one?
Well, again, I am providing parts for both.
Oh, okay.
There weren't any duplicate parts. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Can you just redesign it so there are duplicate parts?
I thought about that, but then from a cost standpoint, I don't know that it's really going to save that much. I mean, this is I think I've kind of decided it's a $90 kit, that or $99. And at that point, 2 or 3 bricks, because really all I added to this particular was 2 bricks. And it really was just changing 2 2x2s to 2 2x6s, to get that out there. So I think I'm okay there. Now, as a value adder, what do you guys think about a little crude dragon to be part of that?
I like it.
Mr. B definitely approves. Yeah, I think it's
It
a
looks
good
good. Looks great.
I mean, it's fun, and obviously there are iterations, so I've got to, my disclaimer's got to be that there are plenty of people, but frankly, the solutions in 110 scale are limited at best, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to
And
claim.
I do have to point of fact, Mr. Scott, the Crew Dragon and the Space Shuttle were never there at the same time. So.
That is true.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought we went to the moon on the shuttle.
Oh my. Okay. Bye, everybody. It's been fun. We'll see ya. Were you alive for that?
So when I did the first STEM moonshot, and the video is still out there somewhere, I think. I should repost that just because it's such a fun thing. But a television reporter came to my home and was talking about the project, and it was as building up to the first project. And she was probably in her mid-20s, something like that. And she was in charge of all STEM related education. That was kind of her beat, right? And so I was giving the spiel about why I wanted to do the project, because too many kids thought that we had gone to the moon on the space shuttle. And she looked at me very sheepishly and said, I thought we did too. And so I launched into using my Saturn V model, showed her how we went to the moon. So there's a whole clip of the first time that I used the ideas kit to show somebody how we went to the moon. And it was a lot of fun. But
Cool.
okay, well, I'm going to keep working on this. The only thing we're working on, and Sam and I had a meeting yesterday, or not Sam and I, Peter and I, and so we're working on the sticker set, and the sticker set will allow you to make any of the 6 configurations of the shuttle. So
Nice.
It's going to be a fun kit. I am going to also sell the instructions and the printed plate as another option, because I think there is an AFOL market for people who have a lot of parts or the ability to order a lot of parts. And the value adder I've got is not just the instructions, it's the sticker set and the printed plate.
Gotcha.
And I think I'm going to do that also for my Saturn V. I don't think that's going to cut into my brick sales that much. And frankly, I think I can get a little better profit margin on selling the stickers to people that already have a collection. But okay, so my final part before I release the podium.
Sam, don't tell them about your most recent purchase, Mr. B. Shh. Okay. Oh, I like it, dude. Woo!
So again, I think everybody that has not gone to the dark side and built one of Joe's LUTs struggles with how to display the ideas kit. And there's lots of different stands, JB brick, which this is roughly kind of a common theme of a mount. But I extended.
I had a question about that. Isn't that the Saturn V that they have on display in Alabama? What is it? Huntsville. Isn't it on a display that looks like that?
Ooh, I don't know.
I think that's where they're getting that from.
Maybe somebody can Google that. But one of the things that I like to do, and my first iteration of the stand was a little different, because when I go to a presentation at a school, or when I was at a convention showing the 12-foot tall version, I like to show that, you know, here we sent all of this into space. What is it? Roughly 5 million pounds, somewhere like that. And yet all we got back was the command module, 3 astronauts, and about 300 pounds of moon rock. And so that kind of morphed into the other thing I did is I had a display of the Earth to Moon transit, which I think is fun. And so I'm considering offering this stand as a kit with the printed brick. You get 3 astronauts. 2 are official, 1 is a spare. So I'm not going to provide any astronauts, but they would have a place to go. You've got the LEM with a little modification in order to make it dock a little easier. I would have to provide basically everything here because that is at the top of the original model. I might do a little better looking at some of the different options that I've seen. I might make this look a little more realistic. But again, this comes with the original model so that with a few parts, maybe it's still a lot of brick. It's like 100 bricks or thereabouts. It could be a fun way for somebody to display their model. And I thought for those that may not be rabbit collectors like us, that would be interesting. And then I might also sell the instructions with the plate as well, just if for those that might be interested. And this one I did use the yellow, thinking it somewhat brings that back. So anyway, feedback.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, again, if I didn't display my Saturn V's with my midlife crisis, that would actually be a very good way to display it.
Well, it just gives it a little more interest, and you can use kind of all the parts that come, or not all of them, but most of them.
So I like how it's displayed there with the command service module and everything, but then where's the one that's on the rocket?
You mean where's the LEM?
So there's only one in the, are you selling everything in there at the base? You sell all of that?
No, I think this roughly, come on. That would be a more accurate representation of the kit.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I was
So
like, if you take the command module, then what's on the rocket?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the escape tower.
Yeah.
So in launch mode,
We sent the escape tower on a trans Jovian orbit.
which there's an interesting episode on For All Mankind where for a while one of the missions is headed towards Saturn because of a failure.
Yeah.
Maybe I do need to watch that show, but
It's a good
I'm
show.
not a big fan of Apple.
It's worth it.
Just
Okay.
wait till the new season and then get the free trial and just.
Yeah, and then just binge the whole thing.
Sounds good. This is why
Okay.
I talk to you, Mr. B. So you always got the greatest ideas, simplest ideas.
Okay, so I think any other, I was considering different colors, but almost any color kind of takes away from the Saturn V. I thought the yellow does draw you down to see the astronauts and, see the, anyway. Okay.
Yeah.
I will
No,
release
that's
the floor and start. I've decided I'm building. I bought King's Knight. I don't know who that is on Rebrickable. They're 110 scale shuttle. And I'm going to
who is that?
rebuild my
Hang on.
larger shuttle into a 110 scale.
I was going to ask.
Yeah, I was thinking you should totally make an external tank and boosters for your space station scale shuttle.
Yeah. You're
I
just
know a
full of
guy
great ideas
who-
that will get me out of this. But
So
yes, it's a good idea.
his full name is Andrew Harkins,
Yeah.
more known
he's
as
got-
King's Knight.
He's got one on.
Yes.
He's got the one on
It's-
Brick Space.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, and it's really nice looking. I'm sure I'll probably play with it a little as I build it, but I thought that'd be fun to have the same scale as the Saturn V, especially when I go and
I definitely want
hopefully
to
start telling
build
kids
show.
again about space flight. And
That's his old design, right?
the one on Rebrickable,
No,
the
that
one you
right
have
there.
sitting on your desk right there.
that's the old Lego version.
Ah, okay.
So I was just going to take this apart because I think I only need one large shuttle out there. So, and my shelves are all incredibly full. Okay, so who's next? Who wants to talk about their project next?
Well, I have to leave in about 20 minutes or so.
Oh,
Probably you then, Joe.
then it's you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll go real quick and let's see. So I also got a printed brick designed by Peter. And I actually liked this so much that I've adopted it as kind of my store logo. Skylab Bricks. Oh, there you go.
Very good.
Yeah, it's very nice. I actually was able to ship out my first kit with this in it for my 1:73 scale Skylab. And if you can't tell, if you look behind me, I really like Skylab.
Yeah, but how many Skylab models have you got, Joe?
Well, 2 actually, Sam, because
That's the right answer.
there's my 1-to-110 that kind of fell apart in the move that I need to put back together. But yeah, I have 2.
I thought I had you there.
Oh, and
Isn't
I'm
it 3
sorry.
if you count that one?
Yeah, that's Skylab right there. The rocket. So right now,
Where can you get this kit?
you can. Right now, you can get plans for my Skylab, my 1:73 scale Skylab. You can get that on my Etsy shop, Skylab Bricks. Yep. No, it's changed, Sam. It's now
It still
Skylab
works on that
Bricks.
one. It still comes up on that.
Oh.
I tried it the
Yeah.
other day and it still directs me to that, and I'm there going, okay.
Uh-oh.
No, they said that they would redirect for about a year before they. So you can actually just go to Lego Joe Design too, but apparently Lego doesn't like it when you use their name.
Yeah.
So there's that. I have my my LUT. I just released version 4.4, which gets rid of the majority of the little red fence pieces that are giving everyone a hard time. I decided to make that the standard because so many people are having a hard time with it. I said, here's the alternative as the standard. You go find your really expensive fence pieces if you want to. So
Now, do you is that on your Etsy store?
that is, that's on my Etsy store. Yep.
And are you selling the Skylab kit on your Etsy store?
I will be shortly, and also Scott, we were talking about me also putting it on your store. I realized I was missing a single piece for the other 4 kits I have, so that's been ordered real quick.
You know, I've been thinking about that, and it seems like you have established enough of a presence with your Etsy store. I'm wondering if it isn't better if we just amplify it. Now, have you done a Facebook page yet for Skylab?
No.
Because
Get on
that's
it,
where
man.
you can go. You can put a shop now button on that.
Yeah.
Because that's where you go on mine. Is you go
Oh,
right.
And that's
I'll
where you
think
go
about
on mine
doing
as
that.
well.
What was that, Sam?
I say that's where people can go on mine as well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Hit the shop now button. It just
Okay.
plus then you can put all your without friending everybody on Facebook. That's the other thing. Without friending every man and his dog on Facebook,
Right. Right.
you can put all your build stuff on there, and everybody talks to you through the page rather than going, "I'm going to add Joe as a friend and spam him and say your build's not good enough, mate."
Right.
Hey, look, I love getting messages from people who are building my thing. I was just talking to someone this morning, and it's those questions. You know, when you're doing the instructions, you're like, well, obviously, this is what you're supposed to do because the picture shows that. But the picture doesn't show you how to do that thing. And so, I get those questions occasionally, and I love answering them. But it's when someone on my okay. How do I put this nicely? Because I'm very appreciative of anyone who buys my stuff.
Exactly.
But let me state this clearly.
Read.
My plans are not for the fake Lego launch umbilical tower. You will not be able to buy parts for my design for $120.
Right.
I will be spending minimum $1,500. Some guy went off on me. He said, "Oh, it just made me so mad." He said, "Well, I cannot believe you're pricing these things so high. You're the reason why only the rich can afford these things. You're part of the problem." And I'm like, you paid $25 for my instructions. That's all. I don't get anything from Lego.
Right.
Anyway, that's my funny story for the week, and it's the reason why I'm an engineer and I'm not in sales. Is I just don't like dealing with that kind of stuff. Anyway, what's the other thing I'm working on? Oh yes, because I can't do anything small scale. I am finishing off one version of my Saturn MLV series, which again is based on an actual study that NASA did back in the 60s to see how far they could go with the Saturn V. And so I decided to do the same thing. How far can I go with the Saturn V kit? And this thing is ridiculous.
Would that be? I've been rewatching From Earth to the Moon.
Okay.
And it's like everybody has spent time in the Apollo Applications Office.
Mm-hmm.
Is that where this study came from?
Correct. Skylab was the only successful program from the Apollo Applications program. They had a whole bunch of other things intended, ready to go.
Even the word successful for Skylab is questionable.
Hey. They pulled success out of the jaws of defeat with that one.
Yes. Kind of like Apollo 13.
Yes. Unlike pulling defeat from the jaws of success. You know what? I also forgot to mention, Mr. B, have we released that since our last show? I can't remember. The LC39?
Yeah, we haven't. Yeah, that was only like a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, it was 3. I don't know. Time.
Our last
time
show was a long time ago.
Yeah. So Mr. B and I did a collaboration. It was his design. I went through it, beat it up, did some surgery, made instructions for it.
Made my life so much harder.
But it really does. but we released the instructions for Launch Complex 39, which goes with my LUT back there. And it's if you have a different LUT, you can probably modify it to fit yours, but it's really designed for mine. And it's a great little build. So that's also available at my Etsy store.
Little
What was that?
little build.
Little, yeah, it's huge. Okay, last thing I want to show everyone. I am working on a Saturn era Mars mission using these Nerva Thrusters. Nerva was another Apollo applications program. It was a nuclear thermal rocket that they would use pretty much a nuclear reactor just to heat the propellant. That's all it was. Pretty simple, but it had twice the efficiency of a standard, twice the specific impulse of a standard chemical rocket, which would have been able to get Saturn era hardware to Mars. So I'm building a whole vehicle just for kicks and giggles. And because I'm literally insane.
Because that's what we do.
That's what we do. So that's what I've been working on. Big thanks to Peter and Scott for helping me out with the nameplates. That was really cool. I'm considering making more kits, but I don't know. We'll see. I'll see where the ADD takes me. And I have to remember Sam Jones. It has been encouraging me to get my Delta 2 and Delta 3 launch vehicles, the instructions for those out, and planning on getting those out probably tomorrow or Monday.
Ooh.
So, yeah.
Boom.
Still need to test build a couple things, but thanks for the constant prodding.
Well, I've got some of those cones we talked about to test them on your Delta 2.
Awesome.
It should work, but yeah.
And reduce the price of some of those parts on it.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm going to go next.
Okay.
Because what I have directly relates to what Joe is talking about.
Let's put you there.
Hang on a second. Let me get
Because
all
I have, for the first time, commissioned someone to help me out with something.
Ooh. You're following in my footsteps.
Yeah. And
All right.
are you going to share your screen or?
It's Sam needs to let me.
Oh,
Doing it. There you go.
Awesome. So I am building designing the milk stool for the first Skylab manned mission,
Oh, very cool.
which is this part. This has been a pain in the butt. The geometry for this thing is
It's
nutty.
a little wonky.
It should work. I think it'll work. I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been building this for like 2 or 3 weeks now.
And I'll probably order parts for it and start test building it. But yeah, this is going to be an add-on for my LUT in case you're really obsessed with the Apollo Soyuz test program or any of the manned Skylab missions.
So Joe, just for your info, a lot of these pipes were removed,
Yeah.
I think, after the first launch.
Oh, so after Skylab 2, they removed a lot of them.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
It's hard to tell where, which mission, which photos came from.
Yeah.
And I guess I'll just show this off because I know Joe lost his marbles over it.
Oh yeah. This is awesome.
So I wanted, these fence pieces to be too wide because having one layer would look weird. But you can't stack them like this, and you can't connect anything from the other side. So I just use these 1x2 modified plates to get them to stick like that.
Right.
That's clever.
And it fits with kind of the messy of we're gonna just attach this thing to the LUT that we already have. It's kind of messy, it's kind of dirty, but it works.
Right.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, Joe texted me. He's like, "Where'd you find this? How did you do this?" I'm like, I just did it. I don't know.
Did it. There you go.
Yeah, if Studio doesn't complain about it.
Well,
That
Studio
works.
complains about a lot.
What
But
are you showing us, Joe?
Huh?
What did you show us?
Just this technique that Sam came up with.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then other things I'm working on are just version 3 of the Launchpad, which is ridiculous.
Wait, which launch pad?
39A.
Well,
I-
and also we should show your Patreon.
Yep, I've made a Patreon to fund the building of the Launchpad, which I think will be starting with the MSS, which is a part of the Launchpad.
Oh boy.
And then hopefully once I get that finalized and make sure it actually holds its own weight, I'll sell that. So pending it actually is buildable. Again, geometry is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I built this the other day. Let's see if I can.
Yes.
This
Yeah,
dude-
it's very nice.
Is that a kit or is that
It's
I
instruction.
bought the instructions.
okay?
And I thanks for that heads up because I've got the Mercedes version, and
Which year?
I wanted the 2020 because of Lewis's 7th.
Mhm.
But yeah, so I got that. I've got the tire decals on order, and his stickers on order.
I wanted the tires. I actually asked him about it because this is from 04, which is not Pirelli.
Correct.
And I was like, so can you just make one with Michelin? And he's like, no. There's not enough demand for it. I'm like, but I'll pay for it. I want it. But no, it's super cool. There were some flaws with the design so that I had to change. I mean, you know how push rod suspension works with these kind of
Mhm.
kits. The pivot for the rear suspension was not supported
Oh.
on the top. Here, let me see if I can show it. Oops. So here,
Yeah.
right there,
Yeah.
this bit, none of this extra stuff on top was there. So the rod would just move
Oh.
uncontrollably side to side, which made it very wobbly, and I felt like things were going to break if you used it too much.
So, Sam, I didn't know you were also into race cars like these other chuckleheads. I mean, cool.
Chuckleheads. Chuckleheads.
Yeah, I've been a fan from a ways for a while, but then during quarantine when they started doing a lot of the streaming online for free, I got really into it.
Oh.
It is addictive.
Huh.
Definitely
I don't know if
a
we're going to have any spectator events, but sometime you'll have to look into our series.
what series?
It is SRO America. We're GT racing.
Ooh, GT. I've been wanting to get into GT. I'm interested.
Sam, you might have to choose. You might have to choose between building LC39
Oh,
and
listen to
getting
him.
your car.
No, I've built a lot of rockets. I want to do something that's for me, not for space for a minute. Now it's back to spending all my money on rockets.
There you go.
Awesome. Well, hey guys, I hate to say this, but I gotta head out. So
Okay,
sorry, I double booked today.
of course.
So
Bye, Joe.
See you later.
guys,
Hey, man.
thanks for chatting, everyone.
And he thinks he can just come back.
Yeah, I know. So, Peter, what are you working on?
I'm actually building this again.
Classic.
I have it too. I just haven't built it yet.
I
Why am I under the?
like
Oh,
the first copy because I ended up with 2 copies because I pre-ordered one from Lego, and then I was able to get one a week early, so I decided to buy a second copy just to get a video out. And then I sold the first copy I built, and now I need the second copy for myself to keep. So,
Very nice.
not that interesting of a story.
So, as a bit of a surprise, we actually have a couple of extra guests.
we do.
We do. We do. We have the one, the only, Dave Shefsick.
Hey, Dave.
Hey there.
Hey,
Good to see
welcome.
you guys.
And the newly crowned brick nerd.
That is
Indeed.
true. That is true. Thanks everyone for all the support. It's been a fun launch, that's for sure.
Ooh, you have a new room.
I do. I just moved to New York, and so this is my new Lego studio that's still in progress, but it's looking good so far.
Hang on a second. Is that a little Micro Saturn 5 I can see there next to the Lego?
I was going to
side?
say, yeah.
Right there. Yep.
Yeah.
I wonder who that belongs to.
So yeah, we're gonna have to figure out the summer.
Yeah, that's for sure. Hopefully post vaccinations.
Yeah.
Have you heard anything about Brick Fair?
Everything's on hold.
Okay.
Yep. I think there's a whole lot of hurry up and wait right now.
Yeah. So tell us about. Well, we have another guest. You said.
We do. We have Greg, but I'm not sure if he's there at the moment because his camera's off, his microphone's off, so he might just be sat there secretly watching us.
Huh. Okay.
I hope it's okay. I'm not building a race car or a spaceship, but I am building a little tuk-tuk right now. So
I was tempted by that set.
Well, before we get too carried away, I'll tell you what I finished working on and what I'm sort of working on. So you might remember before Christmas, I was on about a blue box that flies through time and space.
it's a little bit bigger on the inside.
Yeah.
It's done.
That's
Ooh.
amazing.
It's done. It's built. It does fly through time and space if I think really hard.
If you toss it in the air, it'll fly once.
Do you know what? It's actually pretty sturdy. It'll probably do it twice.
Let's split the difference and say once and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to think, Dave, you and I were there when we birthed this new Lego Maniac.
It's your fault.
He was so cute back then, you know?
Yeah.
But yes, so this is my TARDIS, and I'll do my own banners.
There you go.
It's available on my Etsy store down there somewhere. You can get the instructions for it. I'm not selling the bricks because I will be honest, dark blue is expensive.
Yeah.
It is like the worst brick to design it, so I really dislike the BBC's choice of color here.
If I buy the instructions, can I email you a complaint saying that I didn't get the bricks with it?
Do you know what? Joe gets it, so why not? And then, so that's done. That's available for people to buy. And then the one I'm currently working on, which I'm in the process of about to test build, is Black Arrow. Now, for those of you who don't know, yes, it does look like a lipstick, and
Which is all of us. All of us don't know.
That's not true. If Joe were here, Joe would know. So Black Arrow is the British, and I've got to say this right, the British attempt at launching satellites under its own power into space. So it was built, funny enough, the engines were actually built 5 miles away from my house back in the 60s. It had 4 launches, 2 of them successful, and only one of them ever delivered a payload. But the one that actually mattered was the R3 launch on the 28th of October, 1971. So this year is the 50th anniversary. And we launched the satellite. But literally, whilst this rocket was in transit to Australia, where it launched from, we cancelled the program. We said, yeah, we've had enough of that now. So Britain doing what it does best and going, nah, had enough, cancel it. And we made a deal with America to use some of your rockets, and you kind of withdrew that deal and said, right, now you got to pay for it.
I love how we're getting to the 50th anniversary of so many space things now.
Yeah.
It's quite kind of impressive as well. How especially within 50 years, how far we've come.
But how far
we haven't gone.
There is that as well, yeah. So once I finish Black Arrow, you will be able to buy it on my Etsy store. But Joe's got to build it first because Joe's going to tell me what I did wrong.
And Dave.
I'm really good at telling Sam what he does wrong.
Yeah,
Your
I
teeth.
do kind of miss that.
Oh, somebody's here.
So I don't know where to start. I've just got all the bricks sort of arrived, or 69% of the bricks arrived earlier today, and I'm just there going. I know I don't have everything, but I just want to start building things.
You could always build a separate mock out of those 60 pieces just for fun. Just whatever comes out of your brain, and then take it apart and build the other thing. And then all of a sudden you have an alternate model. You can sell 2 in 1.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's smart.
I think I might be able to build the 3rd stage motor. I think I've got all the parts for that.
Let me get my mask.
He says.
Do you know much about the company that's working in the UK now?
Orbex.
I think that's right.
Yeah, I think it's Orbex. They're based up in Scotland. I don't know too much about them, but I want to go see what they're up to because that'll be quite fun to see, especially if we launch it from the UK. Because one of the concerns, especially with Black Arrow, was they were going to have a launch pad over in Norfolk, which is like the east of the country, but they were worried about spent stages falling back to Earth and landing in the North Sea oil fields and stuff like that and damaging oil rigs. So Scotland again would have that same sort of thing to worry about, but if they've got a sort of a returnable and reusable stage like SpaceX has got that can fly back and land somewhere, then the issue kind of goes away.
You mean you don't want a flying explosive landing near oil fields?
Yeah, apparently it's not.
China does it. I mean, so it must be okay, right?
But we'll see what happens. It will be an interesting thing, to say the least. Yes.
So, how many pieces are in that TARDIS?
1,811. Oh, and I forgot to show you this, Dave. You'll like this. If you do buy it, you get the instructions to build your own console and central core.
Nice.
Inside.
Does the middle bit go up and down?
No. I wish it did. But these bits spin.
Oh, good.
These bits all they counter rotate and they all spin.
Cool.
And mini screwdriver.
So that's more of the 12th Doctors then?
No, this is 11s. This is season 8 kind of thing. But
Very
you
cool.
can change the trans green for trans orange, trans red, trans neon orange to get you your 12 Doctors.
Now, when I get the instructions, did you also record audio of yourself trying to make the noises so that I can make the whole experience real to me?
Nope, that was
Sounds like
not.
a YouTube
I
video.
could put that in the folder. That wouldn't be too difficult. It comes with added sound effects.
Yes.
You should make a build along YouTube video.
I would, but I really don't fancy taking it apart again. I took it apart 3 or 4 times, and then I dropped it, which is always a good thing.
Now you know how Scott feels taking apart that 12-foot tall Saturn V rocket. I don't know how many countless times.
Yep, and you sit there and you go, yeah, it's. I just can't wait for Mr. B to start building LC-39, and then it just goes everywhere, and you're like, oh, okay.
It's going to be a lot of that. And that's just, I don't have the space to have everything built.
You need a storage container where you can just go and build it in there. And then invite people into your storage container to see the project, not for any other dodgy reasons.
Come join me in my storage container. So romantic. So you said you already built this tuk-tuk? Sam?
I haven't. No, I don't even.
I for some reason, I thought you had mentioned that you had. My apologies.
No. I'm running out of space for Lego.
So you are now an official AFOL then, because an AFOL never has space for Lego, yet we keep on buying more of it.
Exactly why there's loads on my bed right now. But yeah, I'm undergoing in the next couple of weeks, a sort of redesign of my bedroom, which involves more space appearing from nowhere. So there will be more Lego.
I don't object to this.
No. And as you can see there, Dave, there are many Lego things.
Nice. You got the Minnie and Mickey too. I love it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed those. I thought it was cool. Pain in the ass to get things to stay in the hands and all that, but
Well, for everyone who loves space, there are some really cool alternate designs for the Beatles art mosaics that involve planetary bodies.
Really?
Yeah,
I've seen some of those.
let me see if I can find a link to that.
Sure, I've seen some of those somewhere.
Well, and Peter did the Iron Man, right? The big version.
I did.
Nice.
It's up there.
Oh, it is.
Oh,
And that
very
took
cool.
3 of those kits, right?
Yeah. And I didn't pay for it.
Really?
I didn't tell you how I got it.
No.
I sold my Comic-Con Wonder Supergirl figure for it.
Right.
I got $400 out of one minifigure.
Whoa,
That's crazy.
Wow.
that is, yeah.
Is that the one you won?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like it's totally free. So
I'm impressed. You just see, this is the thing. Minifigures, there can be a lot of money in them, can't there? In some of them.
yeah, I mean it just takes
I get the collecting. Every so often I catch myself doing I can't remember who says this, does it bring you joy? And
It's Marie Kondo.
okay, I got to be very careful because I could definitely turn into a hoarder.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, and my mom was, especially late in life when her dementia really kicked in. Oh my God, the amount of magazines that she had in the basement. I mean, the fire load alone. We actually brought in a dumpster and we filled a 3-yard dumpster with what came out of the basement. Anyway. Just
What, you didn't recycle it all?
So here we go. Dave's found a link. Let me share my screen once more. There you go.
Oh.
Yeah, those are nicer.
I really like the color palette. The planets are just awesome. So
You know what would be super cool would be to do one of the Earth and then have Skylab or the space station coming out of that.
be hard to do in dots though.
You'd probably do it in bricks.
Silhouette.
Yeah.
Silhouette would be able to do it. You're right.
I'm on it, Scott.
No, you've got to finish a certain project first.
I'm on it next, Scott.
There you go.
I don't know, because I plan on buying those mosaic Technic bricks in lug bulk this year.
Ah,
So,
okay.
wasn't particularly buying them to build more mosaics, but to build like a basis for mocks. Like
Good luck. When I've perused the list, I don't think I saw it on there.
It
The
is.
mosaic one? It is. I put it on my list.
Nice.
Did your lists all get recalled?
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine. Because I haven't seen new list yet, but I was when I looked at the initial list, I was like, oh yes, there's plenty of dark blue on there. I can build another TARDIS.
You just have to convince all of your lug mates to order dark blue.
That's the hard part.
You know, this year our lug bulk exploded. I've got 38 people buying,
Wow.
which is good and bad. It's because basically everyone's only going to get 2 assured picks. And then we've only got 9 that then can be something else, right? So
I'll pick those ones.
My lug does it by vote. So everyone has a certain number of votes. If you want to guarantee that you get a pick, you use all of your votes on one pick.
yeah.
If you want to stretch it out, you give your votes to a couple different things.
See, I think we do a voting thing as well. We do like, first we whittle it down to like color of stuff and then go from there. And I haven't really read the rules properly. I just been told to pick things and I'm like, yeah, that'll do.
In C-Lug, they used to compare what are the current availability on Bricklink, what is the price compared to others' prices, what is the availability in bulk. Like they do this whole like statistical analysis when it's just like, yeah, but I really need all these rods for a something cool I want to build. And
Yeah.
This is what we've been doing, and we did it in Iowa, when I started this journey. And so at this point, it's just kind of comfortable, and I think everybody still does pretty well. I mean, I think everybody will get some seconds and third picks for people, and then I go deeper. So we'll have a pretty good selection.
What did you do last year? Did you sort it all out for everyone and then deliver? Or I know a lot of people had a hard time doing that with COVID stuff.
Yeah, we had one of the lug members, because I was very distracted at that time. One of the lug members had 2 others, and then they physically distanced and basically filled everybody's orders. The only problem we still get is this incredibly frustrating plus or minus 10%, which is never plus. And so, unfortunately, they sorted and then got to the end and people were missing brick. And last year, I made it all up for people. And this year, another member did. And we just can't, that's not really, it's only feasible because there are a few of us that buy way too many Lego, and that's not really fair on us.
Well, and especially considering the fact that you paid for it all.
Yeah. But people don't really understand that. And I try to tell them, when they order that. But yeah, in the previous years, we've kind of just I had my garage and people came in and filled their order. The only thing I would modify from that method is that if you pick a part, on your list, you have to then sort for everyone, because otherwise, if somebody is in that 10%, that, it's the last person to my garage loses out. So
yeah, I remember the days when you'd get a little bit more, and then we actually would have a draft at the end of the day of everyone who helped sort for all the excess.
That's a good idea. Good way of doing it.
a lot of days gone by, aren't there?
All right.
By the way, Dave, I assume you know the whole thing with Kevin.
I know a little bit, and I wish him the best.
Yeah.
So He'll definitely be missed in the community.
Yeah, I don't think he's totally gone from the friends, but yeah. The last message I saw, he's not even going to go to conventions.
I know that he has a little bit of a backlog of projects that he's agreed to do, so he's still going to be doing a little bit of it. So,
Right.
yeah. So, but wish him well. He did some fantastic work for BrickCon this year, and he's always really been a good friend. So he'll definitely be missed.
So tell me about Brick Nerd. I've got to be honest, I knew of him, but did not follow Brick Nerd until you took over because, of course, I love you. So
Well, thank you. No, Brick Nerd, it's been around, I think, since 2013. Tommy Williamson started it just as a way to highlight some of the good builds in the community. And so he would post really cool reviews and mocks that people made, and always really, and it was his personality that he would reach out and almost thank you for sharing this with the community. It was very kind of a community-based thing. He expanded that to a YouTube channel, Brick Nerd TV, and he works in the special effects industry, and so he had some really cool things that he was able to do with video editing and stuff. Then the past year, I think just interest change. They wane a little bit. He's gotten really big into the 3D printing space.
yeah, and I see that all the time, and it's very interesting what he's doing.
Yeah. So he started a separate brand called Nerds and Makers, which is really doing some amazing things. And Brick Nerd just kind of wasn't updated for about a year or two. Maybe a few things here and there. And then when I was moving to New York and left for the Brothers Brick, I was thinking about what I wanted to do to continue to promote the Lego community. I like being involved. I like highlighting things that other people are doing and having a community voice. So I looked at different things like potentially writing for Brickset or a couple different sites. And then Tommy approached me and said, well, are you curious about taking this over? And it's like, well, that was not on my list of things I was going to do. I was going to join some place where I could write an article once every now and then have time to build. That'd be great. So, but then I started exploring it. I started talking to a couple different AFOLs in the community about what they wished that they saw from other Lego media sites out there and what they thought was missing. And basically kind of learned that there was a little bit of tiredness about seeing so many press releases and new set announcements and reviews. And here is this Lego buy it kind of consumerism type of a thing. And a lot of the culture really wasn't being represented anymore.
Right.
As well as a couple communities within the greater Lego fan community that haven't really been represented that much, like replicas or customs, modifications, using Lego for pain management, lots of different aspects that really aren't talked about that much. And so I kind of did an analysis of all the different Lego blogs out there and saw where there might be a hole that we could potentially fill that would be useful. And so I started trying to recruit some writers and tried to sell them on the vision of we didn't want this to be kind of consumer. We want it to be, like what the name says. It's a Brick Nerd, where we want to get nerdy about the bricks.
Yeah.
and do deep dives. And if you've read any of our content, we definitely do deep dives.
Yes.
Yeah, you have to dedicate some time to read one of our articles. And so the response was really good, and I really wanted a good, diverse group of writers from. We represent 12 different languages across. I think we're up to 12 different countries now.
Wow.
Because Lego is experienced differently in different places. One of our writers is in Chile and was writing about how even just access to Lego can be difficult down there, and how does that change the hobby compared to some of us who can just go to our local Walmart and just buy whatever's on sale.
Right.
So that was really fun. A lot of people came on board, and we decided to start an ideas list of articles we'd want to see and want to read, and we have so many writers that everyone can kind of concentrate on one big feature a month, and they don't have to worry about a lot of different articles every single month, and they can just focus on their one topic, their one thing they want to do once a month. And we are really kind of leading with quality over quantity.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So yeah, that's the vision. I like the name Brick Nerd because it's not gendered. It could be anybody. It could be all of us. And I think what we really want to do is just have a good community presence. We want to, once cons get going again, we want to sponsor cons and be able to sponsor contests and things like that. We're running a contest right now, actually, for modifying our little mascot here. This is Nerdly. This is one of Tommy's inventions. It's just a cute little guy.
Yep.
I for some reason someone said that they could see the resemblance, but I don't really see it. But anyway, we're running.
Yeah, you're not red. I'm sorry, but you're just not red.
If you flatter me enough, I might do. I might be. Anyway, so we're running contests. We're really trying. We want to be more of a community hub, where people go to learn about things that other people are doing. We want to highlight. We don't really view ourselves in competition with anybody. We just want to point people in the right direction for their section of the community where they want to participate. So we've definitely had a fun launch. It's been a good exciting month, and people are responding, which we're really grateful for. We're going to be launching some new things in February and March, so we're excited about those, but I can't talk about those just yet. But also we're also working with Joe Menno and helping them share some content for Brick Journal as well.
Cool.
So, yeah, we're there. We want to work with everybody and really highlight the community. So, hey,
not that our audience is as big as yours already is, but maybe send us all the links. We'll put it with the video.
Sure.
Because we do get people that watch this later.
We do, and then they go, "Oh my word! Where has this show been all my life?"
I'm not going to go that far, but I do think we might be one of the few that has such a focus on space, which wasn't my intention, but was organic. And sometimes organic is the best way for something to happen, right?
I don't know. I really feel like the black sheep here.
I mean, I've never built a big space thing until Scott had us, build something that's 12 foot tall. I remember his first email. He's like, "Hey, we want to do this." And I'm just like, "Who is this person? Why do they want to do an activity with us? What are they doing?
Who is even this guy? What does he want from me?"
Yeah, and he was so well organized. They're just like, what is he moving here? What's happening?
I remember when we first got there, and it was like, these are all your boxes full of Lego bricks. And they go, "Yeah, that's just a few."
That was a fun day. It was weird. I posted a gallery of everything on Facebook recently. Well, I mean, after the event, like, many years ago was it now?
Yeah, but it's come back up recently, hasn't it? It's
Yeah,
some people
somebody that wasn't in any of our friend circles just found it and was just like, "Hey, this is awesome," and shared it in some space groups, and then all of a sudden it starts, getting comments again and things like that. It's kind of fun to relive it when somebody's just seen it for the first time.
Yeah, I keep when they do that, I keep going back and looking over at some of the pictures, and you sit there and go, "Yeah, we had a great time. It was just so much fun."
Well, and I've got to say, just the Sea Lug folks were so nice.
There was that one guy though; he was a bit iffy.
Yeah, that guy.
I think his name was Sam, right?
But
backfired quickly.
and for me to get to do what I love to do, I've got to find those connections, because as Dave well knows, my kind of project takes many hands to make light work. And
well, and if you get a good project and a good idea, and you're willing to do, the majority of the work organizing it, and just say you need people here to support. I mean, Sea-Lug went above and beyond just getting people to sort kits and stages and instructions and things like that, but also the Museum of Flight. I mean, I don't know if you remember when the army of accountants came in,
yes,
and saved the day, because we had some other volunteers who maybe didn't count so well, and then they sent in their army of accountants instead of doing their weekly meeting or something like that. And these are people who count for a living, and boy, accuracy went up and shot through the roof when they started doing those.
Because I was busy doing instructions, and I think you or Sam came out and said, "Why didn't we get them earlier?"
So no, it's Sea-Lug's a good group. That facility is a great. It was fantastic. They wanted to do another activity surrounding Yuri's night, and actually light up the rocket and have it all lit up at nighttime. But of course, that's all been put on hold. They want to bring it back maybe in 2021. Sorry, 2022. So.
Which I just need to know who I need to talk to. If you've got
right now, they're kind of in flux because there really haven't been that many events, and so they need to save money.
Oh, okay. So
I'd say once they open again, message me and we can figure it out together.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yours is done, version 6, and I shared on Facebook. I'm really, really pleased with it.
I'm excited to test it out and find new things to improve.
Thanks for your support.
No, I mean, who else has built it and taken it apart as many times?
I know.
So
you're the only other person that really understands what I go through.
Well, I remember one time I was setting it up without you, and then there was a piece that had somehow popped out of the middle of a stage somewhere. It's like, okay, and then you have to very carefully perform surgery trying to lift up the layers to try to add it back in. It's not as bad as reconstructing it from the base, but
which I only I'm really pleased with the transition from stage 3 to the service module with the verticals. That turned out really, really nice.
And
it's also
you don't have to be as high up on the ladder to put that last section on.
No, you don't.
It's always a little terrifying thinking, if I sneeze right now.
So now, yeah, it would still be good to have a foot ladder, but a 6-foot ladder is fine, and almost every facility has a 6-footer. It was always tough to find the 8-footer.
Yeah. Yep. Well, and I love that the fins come off now too. Makes it infinitely easier to pack and move and store.
Yeah. Have you gotten your SUV yet?
No, it's on the list because it is currently snowing outside and 5 degrees. And my little Honda doesn't really do that well in snow, we have found. So We may be getting a more Lego friendly car in the future, near future.
Well, I strongly recommend Lexus. You can get used Lexi, pretty reasonable, but they just last forever. I mean, I've got 108,000 miles, and the only non-standard maintenance was tires, and
Nice.
and mine's a hybrid, so it's a little more complex. Although it's funny, since it's a hybrid, it does not have a transaxle, so it loses a lot of complexity that way.
Well, I will add that to the list of stuff that we need to explore.
Subaru, of course, is very popular in Idaho.
Nice. Well, I just finished this thing.
Hey,
Nice.
It was a little bit. It's a little bit. It's fun. It's very much kind of a Rainbow Warrior on the inside, and I kind of like that.
well, they are in real life, aren't they? They're very customized to each.
Yeah. The taxi was a lot of fun too.
So
Scott, you're
I
up in my
assume you
neck
are
of the
not
woods,
pursuing
Oops, sorry.
registered status.
We don't know, because sometimes registered status means that they like you posting set reviews and
Exactly.
press releases and things like that. So for now, we're happy with what we're doing. So Brick Nerd had it previously, but I think they got taken away just because of not posting after a while.
Right.
So we're gonna see. There might be some things that we can do without them. I do have to say that I am in contact with them. They've been very helpful, and along the way, kind of talking about our vision and wanting to support us even outside of the program in different areas than program support. So we'll see if that comes to fruition. So
Right.
they're at least open to it. So. And Scott, you were just in my neck of the woods, right?
I was in Maryland.
Doing just a small project up there.
Yeah. Jeez. Well, it got bigger the longer I was there.
It's funny how that happens.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't that old of a house, but it was not built very well, so luckily now they've got a new HVAC system, all new piping, new air conditioner, new water heater. So I told them, I said, the next thing to start budgeting for is probably the roof, but hopefully they're there for a while. But the house values in Maryland are just going through the roof, and they have a ton of land, which, it's surprising when they first started telling me what houses cost there. I remember.
I would think it'd be more expensive than Idaho.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Their house is, although with the land, but it was pretty close to $500,000. And of course, that's all just debt, right, at this point. But luckily, interest rates were low at the time they got the loan. And now my other daughter wants me to come to Grand Rapids and help
Well,
them.
she saw everything you did with the other house.
So I'm going to do a recon visit in probably a couple, 3 weeks, and then start my lists.
So, Scott, I think I have to head out.
Okay,
So,
go make some money.
yep. And hopefully see you guys next time.
You bet. Thank you.
See you, Peter.
See you, Peter.
Yeah.
Dave, I'm really interested in your website, and I want to check it out some more, but I feel like I want to help contribute in some way.
Well, thank you. We are always looking for really interesting articles. So if you have like a like an idea of something that you'd want to really go deep and nerdy on, we are always looking for guest articles too.
Okay.
So
It might be on digital design, but yes.
that's fine. That's a big section of the community that we need to learn more about probably.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'll be in contact with you.
Sure.
All right.
All right. See ya.
Hey, guys.
Yeah, this group, Dave, has a deep knowledge and some level of frustration with studio.
Yep. Well, and Leah Chan, she's one of our contributors. So
Oh yeah. Of course, you know, Leah does not use studio.
Mm-mm.
oh, we picked the one that doesn't do it then.
No, she because she was a guest last year, and everything she does is free build.
That's nuts.
I mean, I think she does some sketches with size and stuff, but
Mhm.
that's one reason why she said that every so often she has to rebuild things because, you know, when you build organic, sometimes the center doesn't hold, right? So you have to go back and work on it. But yeah, no, she's great. I love her to death. Someday I hope we can display at the same time, same place.
You should all come to Brickworld Chicago the year it opens again.
Yeah, I'm hoping towards fall that maybe some of this will loosen up, but
Well, I help plan and organize BrickCon, so right now we don't know. We
yeah,
don't know. I mean, are people going to be vaccinated by October? Are people still going to be hesitant to go to large crowds? Are they going to want to come and participate in a group event? So it's like, but as an event organizer, that's hard. Do you gamble on the 15,000 people coming? Do you gamble, and get the space and all the help and set everything up? And then what happens when only 1,000 come and you go under, right?
right.
Do you do virtual as well as in physical, just so people can participate who don't feel comfortable, and then you're kind of running two conventions at once? We went virtual last year, and it was probably more work than it would be to just run a physical con, since we're used to running the physical cons, right? So right now we're telling people, yeah, come back to us in July. We'll know more in July. So.
Well, and unfortunately, I mean, I put the conventions that had dates on, and unfortunately, I've got a race, or no, I'm sorry, it's my wife's celebration of life for her mother. So I'm going to be in Iowa.
Yeah, that'll probably be one of the few times I actually get back out to the West Coast again. Is probably for BrickCon and either Bricks LA or BrickCam, depending on the year and travel budget. I don't think I'll get back to Brick Slopes anytime soon.
That's kind of a hard trip. Just, I mean, I'd love to, I don't know that I'd fly there, but I'd definitely drive there, so.
Oh yeah, I've driven there before. If it's not exactly plane friendly from upstate New York.
Well, and I wanted to do Brickfest or Mockfest last year, and we canceled. That was going to be our first solo show, and and it was going to be a 1 day plus kind of thing, not nearly a convention, but I'll be right back. Entertain yourselves.
We got to get Sam to come over to a Lego convention once he's not bringing some variant of the coronavirus with him.
Hey, I'm good. I don't go outside anymore. It's the safest way.
Is that why we have a TARDIS?
Pretty much, yeah. Literally, if I had been able to do, if we hadn't taken, let's put it this way, if the world and the UK hadn't taken COVID seriously and all that sort of stuff, and I was actually able to do my job last year, the TARDIS wouldn't exist. I wouldn't have built and designed the Black Arrow. I probably wouldn't have put as much effort into and thought into designing Lego stuff, to be honest. But in a way, it's given me plenty of time off work to sit there and go, well, now what do I do? Oh, I tell you what, I'll design some Lego.
Well, Andy wouldn't have had the opportunity to send cool EU only sets to some of your friends.
This is it. Yeah.
So. So what are you building right now? Are you building the first stage?
Well, I'm attempting to build what I can with the parts I have for Black Arrow, but it's not coming out very well because, believe it or not, there's a lot of parts I actually need that on here.
You can always take apart the TARDIS.
Yeah, but Dave, this rocket isn't dark blue. That's just
Oh,
like,
you just have them as holding pieces.
it's a tiny issue.
Tiny.
I've sort of built my nose. Okay.
That's a
Oh,
lovely looking apple you have there.
And I have half of the third stage motor, the waxwing,
Nice.
and part of the second stage core. Yeah, I just have parts of things.
Parts and parts and parts.
Yep. Evidently, I need more Lego.
Yes, definitely.
Good problem to have.
Whenever I get bored, I always go to a pick-a-brick cup of something that I have, right? And so just the other day, I just had a bunch of just 1x2s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, wonder what I could do. Is like, oh, let's do like desert landscaping or something like that. So you just start stacking,
Oh, clever.
and see what you can do with just a simple piece, right? And just kind of like practicing and training, and
Training.
it's just one piece. So doesn't work as well if you only have like 1x1 studs, though. You need at least 1x2 somethings.
I get a lot of grief because I have publicly stated that I hate 1x1s. And
then he goes and puts them in his own build.
like all my kits use 1x1s, right? So it just, I should modify that. I hate 1x1s in big builds. Maybe that's what I should modify. That
I think the wording used at one stage was, I hate 1x1s. Why would any designer use them? You can't have control over them. I like to be able to control people when I'm doing my build, when I'm designing my builds and all that. And now it's like, well, actually, Scott, you use all of the 1x1s.
Be careful what you wish for, as they say.
So Sam, you don't have any unopened set that you have not built already?
No.
Wow, boy, you're such a little baby A-ful.
I don't have the space to store these things. Lego enters the house, it gets built. That's the rule.
He does not have very much space. I wonder who Greg
Hopefully by the
is.
next show, maybe I will. Maybe I'll have a desk.
Oh,
You don't need a
Kevin.
bed, though. I mean, you can just sleep on stacks of Lego, right?
I have considered it.
So Kevin asked whether the one I was taking apart was 10231. I think 10231 is what was it? Adventure, and this one, no, other way around. The other one was Endeavor, and this one is Adventure. So this was the second shuttle. So are you going to do, I know you've got a YouTube channel. Are you, and I subscribe, everyone's subscribed because that helps with all sorts of things. I meant Two Brick Nerds. I should have been clear about that. So Dave, what are you seeing for what you want on your YouTube channel?
We're actually not going to be using and updating that channel. So thanks for the subscription. I'm sure Tommy will enjoy that.
Okay.
After Copa, they kind of deleted all of his comments in his whole community, and right now we're just trying to focus on the written portion and the community portion. So that might be something that comes down the line. But right now, the YouTube, we think the YouTube Lego area is pretty saturated. If we find an idea that like we can contribute there, that's great. I don't particularly like myself on camera, you know.
Why? You do
As a
great.
service to you, but yeah. So right now, no real plans for YouTube, but I'm sure that once we do get going, if we do that, we'll be very happy for your subscription. So thank you.
Well, that was a little premature, obviously.
Tommy still does a lot of video stuff for his Nerds and Makers. So if you can subscribe to him, that would be great. He does a lot of the 3D printing. He's been making tiki mugs recently using kind of monster clay, and he's doing a lot of kind of really fun stuff. So making molds out of like pewter and stuff. So it's a lot different than Lego, but he's having a lot of fun. So I'm sure that he would appreciate the subscription. I think he just hit 1,000, so he can name his channel.
There you go.
Yeah. Let me see if I can't find you that link.
I am gathering bricks for my 1 to 110 model of the shuttle. So Leah's kind of covering your space theme, I take it.
Really, we have experts in certain areas. And so they can really write about whatever they want to write. Brick Nerd doesn't have kind of like the Brick Nerd voice, right? It's everybody is writing what is interested, what interests them. And so if she wanted to write about space, she's more than welcome to.
Okay, I just didn't know if
some people write about what other people are building and highlighting them. Some people are writing about what Lego means to them. Some people are writing about the fields that they're experts in. So it's really kind of a nice variety. Honestly, you go to Brick Nerd every day and you don't exactly know what to expect. And maybe there's an article for you, maybe there's not. And you come back the day later, right? So that link right there, that is for Tommy Williamson's Nerds and Makers channel, where he does a lot of cool stuff with 3D printing and things. So I'm sure he'd love a subscribe there too. So thanks for doing that.
I do have a question. This group is looking forward to the end of COVID, and we've talked about doing a collaborative build.
Yes.
That we're still considering. And you've obviously done that several times. So could you give us your top 10 things to do and top 10 things not to do in a collaborative build?
Oh, that's a question, that.
Yeah, 10 things is a big number.
Okay, 5. We'll get top 5 of each.
How about we go to 3? Then we all each have to do 1.
Okay. Well, I don't know because I've never done one, so I'm a total newbie about that.
Well, it depends on the collaborative display, right? I mean, is it a big sparse layout where things are intricately connected, where you have to know what the person next to you is building, and you have to communicate with them to make sure it all works and connects? Or is it a little bit more of a conceptual thing where everyone can build something separately and the display of them all together is more than any of them individually? So you have to decide, first and foremost, what kind of collaboration it's going to be. Is it going to be the one where you need to know what your neighbor is making? Is it one that you can just set something down and walk away? Or is it something that's kind of being a little bit more well done now? It's kind of like the Mills standards, where you know exactly where plates or roads or train tracks need to merge, and you just know what height you need to hit for the person next to you, and you can just build whatever you want on your little section, and it all kind of comes together. So So really, it depends on the idea. So my first tip is to nail the idea. The idea of the collaboration is what's going to sell it. It's what's going to make it exciting. And once you have that idea, conceptualize how is it going to look in the end in terms of what kind of collaboration it's going to be.
Well, as you might imagine with this group, it's going to involve space.
That's our idea. That's it.
That's about as far as we've gotten. I am promoting using the city space theme because I bought all of them, and so I want to justify my purchase, basically. But it's also minifig based. I think people like, in collaborative builds, they like to see minifigs, I think. So that's kind of what, and the other thing I told these guys about the zoo that you guys did, that having that outer layer be higher than the first ones really made some sense. So
that was really nice because the way that it was created, it added kind of a forced perspective to it. And so you could see the back of it as easily as you could see the front. I'll grab a screenshot so we can share that. There we go. Actually, I'm just going to send this to you, Sam. So that was very interesting. We did that with a group called Fabulug. And that was a little bit more of a hands-on collaboration. If you look closely, there is a path that goes through it. And so we knew what elevation we needed to hit, and we knew where the path needed to hit.
you have to share your screen.
I'm just on it.
Yep.
Okay.
And so that way, you knew what habitat you were going to make, what animal you were going to do. You knew what elevation it had to be, and you knew where the path needed to hit. And so you kind of had your puzzle piece. And so you had to build that puzzle piece. So all separately, it was kind of interesting because, some of the back sections, they're 30 bricks tall. And so you just have this kind of like lattice work. You finally get to 30 bricks tall, and then like, oh, here's your habitat right here, right on the top of it. From the picture, it looks really flat. But that's only because, but if you look at it, you can actually see the back rather than, having the things in front of it. I mean, the giraffe enclosure there in the front, that's at least, 15 bricks tall. And that's not, it's not getting in the way of anything. That big tower on the top, the ride circles and goes up and down as well. So
It's supposed to, right?
Yep.
I've never seen it.
Yeah, I think it had a few problems at
Couple problems.
Yeah. But it's an easy way to kind of bring a collab together where, I did 3 sections of this. Somebody else did 3 or 4. The person does 1, and it looks great all together. Some other collabs try to hide the grid a little bit more. You can kind of see here that you can kind of see everyone's 32, by 32 base plates a little bit. A couple of people did, 3 of them as a corner or 2 straight or something like that to kind of break that up a little bit. But if you take a close enough look, you can kind of see that it's still grid based. That's not as important, but I know that some collaborations try to go for more kind of a natural look rather than a hey, this is easy because it's Lego look. So we had some planning sessions for this where we conceptualized it. At one point in time, it was going to be a city scape instead of a zoo. And we basically just kind of drew out a grid of what it could look like. Once we agreed on a zoo, it's like, all right, who wants to do what animals?
Right.
What's the best way to do this in terms of balancing the display? What things need to be flatter? What things need to be, taller? How do we balance it? And so we actually drew out a schematic of it, and Jesse Robertson actually made a grid and a graphic of the grid, and kind of everything was labeled numbers across and letters down. So you knew, like, okay, A5 is the botanical garden, and that's going to meet here, or it's just going to be a solid wall. And we were able to kind of establish the rules of the system and then go from there. So minifig stuff is much easier as a collab than any other thing. So I would say that if you're doing space, it would be kind of fun if you had like black fabric with like little pinholes, like shining light, and then you just hang everything. And so you actually have like a hanging space display. That'd be really cool.
Okay, you've just justified your joining this. That's a good idea. I mean, I've seen that.
I'm an ideas guy.
You're an ideas guy.
I let you guys do execution. I'll be the ideas guy.
So now you guys were not together, right? I mean, you were virtual until you showed up.
Yeah, we had one meeting in person to kind of go over the schematics and kind of like the base rules. Then we created, kind of a guiding document with all of the measurements and things we needed to hit. And that was all virtual. We had one get together to kind of build it and put things together. Some people couldn't be there. I couldn't be there. The first time I saw my stuff with the group was when it was on display. It was like, here we go. I hope this fits. And we got there and we're like, oh, I missed this by 2 bricks tall. Here, let's go grab some of the play brick or whatever and just kind of build it up. My back section was a little bit too low. And so I went and grabbed an Amazon box and just shoved it underneath the thing to lift it up a little bit. So in the moment, you have to be able to figure it out. And one thing that maybe we didn't account for as much as we should have was all the electronics. A lot of things lit up, a lot of things going up and down. And we didn't quite figure out, oh, yeah, I have this plug that's coming out of the back of mine. I said it could go through, yours, but I didn't realize it had to go through, 6 other base plates. So we had to go run out and get USB extension cords to plug into something and have it go all the way out the back of the display. Because, when you're building it, it's just right there and it looks like it's enough, but
right.
Enough. So there's a lot of kind of scramble in the moment, at least the first time that you put it together. And then hopefully you get better the second or third time. The zoo only ever was on display twice, once at BrickCon and once at Bricks Cascade. It was going to go to BrickCan, but then that was canceled last minute. So,
right, because the rocket was going to go there too, wasn't it?
So for a space kind of collab, I would either suggest an idea of like a big, gigantic, near future moon base. Where you can have rovers and space shuttles and maybe something coming out of a crater, and I don't know, maybe throwing some aliens for fun for the kids. It depends on how literal you want to go, and then you can do a lot of different kind of moon things. You have a lot of color inspiration from Lego classic space sets that you could use, and just kind of use that as an inspiration to see where it goes. And last Bricklink, I got a bunch of these. That's a great place to start. That's for sure. And then, or you go with set your scale. Like, let's say you want to do a big space display where you have a black hanging background with little LEDs in there that are twinkling or something. Do you do some kind of really cool mosaic for planets in the background that are illuminated from behind? Do you hang things with black string in front of it so the string kind of disappears and so it just looks like they're hanging there? If that's the case, what do you do with the negative space?
Yeah.
Do you have meteors, rockets? Is it a giant space battle rather than just kind of one rocket going up towards something else? Do you hang planets? And then when that's the case, how do you have to hang things, closer to the viewer or further away? for perspective, and what sizes do those need to be accurate, rather than it's just like, here's this rock going up, and then there's a little tiny Saturn over there. It doesn't quite work. So you'd have to figure out. There's definitely more complexities there. There's definitely more of an armature there. But if anyone could pull it off, I think it'd be you, Scott.
Yeah, I think that's a really good. I'm kind of thinking exploration, mostly because I think Star Wars is always at every convention, right? So the war part is always covered. The NASA part tends to have a lot, and of course, if I'm there, then my Saturn V will be there, my alter ego. But I haven't seen too much on. There's usually a cityscape. There's usually a like medieval or steampunk, or these are all things that I see a lot at conventions. I just have not seen a big uptake in that Lego space theme, the city space theme. So I'm kind of thinking exploration, but we could have a moon. It could have craters. We could be harvesting ice.
It could be all of that. It could literally be a scene from For All Mankind if you go that way, Scott.
Well, I'm just thinking that there's all sorts of things that would be a logical. There's going to be a buried habitat, so there could even be a forward part that's a cross section that's showing a buried part of a moon base, and I think we could. But I do like your idea of the, maybe there's a stand-up mosaic,
or combine the two,
Europe, right?
You have the front that looks like the moon and it kind of curves off, and then in the background you have the hanging backdrop with some stuff hanging and actual taking off, and adding some kind of dynamics to it. So,
satellites. There's obviously going to be many more satellites around the moon once we fully.
My only request is just have a little, whatever scale you're doing, have a little lunar lander there with a film crew. So it looks like a stage, but it's
it's got to be segmented off, right? Because it's going to be a historical site. So that's a good idea. Who knows? Maybe we'll draft you to be in this collaborative build.
Depends on where it's going to be displayed, that's for sure.
Well, we got to figure out where we can get Sam to. We've got to have Sam.
I'm pretty sure all you have to do is ask and he'll just show up. So
true, but it's got to be on his schedule. He's a busy guy.
He should bring a little mini TARDIS to appear on the moon somewhere, with the Doctor. I'm sure there's an episode involving the moon.
There's an entire episode called Kill the Moon.
Okay. Is that the one where it ended up being like an egg?
Yep.
That was such a weird episode. And then it just it hatched, and then it's just then they left another one in its place that was exactly the same as the one before. It's like, I don't think you want consequences to your episodes anymore. So,
yep, because that one was Peter Capaldi, and you just gave up halfway through the episode. He was like, "Yep, you guys crack on. I'm just gonna go back in my box and chill out and fly away. I'm gonna leave you guys to deal with the crisis and decide if you're gonna kill a creature or or whatever."
Yeah. That said, I'm excited to hear about the collab. I have a few ideas and I'll start thinking about it. But I do have to head off here in a few minutes. So,
well, as you say that, we are approaching the 2-hour mark.
We are.
Well, then
Thanks for joining.
I'll just go to the very end then. I have to hop on another thing here on the hour, so I'll just go as late as I possibly
can. The bitter end. Well, thanks for joining. I'm sorry I didn't get it out earlier. You're always on the my
That's
invite
okay.
list.
I saw the list and I was just like, oh, I haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah. But yeah,
Sam.
the snow on your way. I don't know if Maryland didn't get very much snow while I was there.
They're a little bit more coastal though, aren't they?
They are.
Yeah.
They're a lot closer to the water.
Yeah. We're near the Hudson, but I don't know if that affects anything as much. The first snowstorm here, we got 2 feet, and that was fun shoveling snow for the first time. It was fun for like 5 minutes.
Five. Yes.
Yep. And then it's just like, okay, I've had enough of this.
That's when you start to. It was years before I had a snowblower, and then I wondered why the heck did I not?
Oh, there you are. I haven't seen you this whole time.
Yeah. My wife's thermostat is kind of broken, so the house is cool. Let's just say so.
Yeah, we woke up and it was 5 degrees outside this morning. So
yeah, that's Iowa weather.
yeah.
Yeah, they just got dumped on. Idaho, there's up in the mountains. They got quite a bit. McCall got dumped on. But we just got rain all day yesterday where they got snow all day. But
We have
the
snow
skiers
today.
are enjoying it for sure. You're very good at looking at the camera, Dave.
No, well, I know where the camera is, and I put whoever's talking. I put whoever's talking right beneath the camera, so that way I can make eye contact.
Oh, so like the screen is like under your camera then?
Yeah, so the screen is shrunk down to be just right here.
Huh.
Because I tend to look at myself when I talk. Just I don't know why. I think it's just human. So I just shrink down the screen on my screen and then make it as close to the camera as possible. Because if not, then I'd be like talking like this, looking at you the whole time.
Well, and it's like I'm always looking at the guests, right? So it's I'm always looking at, and then if I look at the camera, I notice that my eyes are always looking over at the guests, which just bugs me to know it. So
yeah.
But it's like I want a screen where the camera is like in the middle. Why hasn't somebody done that?
They have. It's a teleprompter screen, and there's a YouTube channel who hacked it and how to do it. Let me see if I can find that before the time expires.
Interesting. We have to look into that.
I wonder if you could project it onto a piece of glass.
Well, that's kind of what
That's what he did.
yeah. Yeah, that would make sense for people that do it all the time. Oh, I like that your screen just went all white. Because I can see your face.
I did that because I'm doing some research right now.
Right.
And I actually needed to see the whole screen.
Our lug had a little 10-piece. So I did a 10-piece version of my micro shuttle and a 10-piece little camera. And of course, a 10-piece little rocket.
Very nice.
Of course, then I forgot to log into the meeting, which is it's like I hit 6 or 6:30 and it's like I'm kind of done with the day, but we are coming up to the end. And again, it was everybody got to kind of talk about their projects, the things that the regulars have been doing. If you're watching this, there'll be some links underneath to look into those projects and look into the kinds of things we do. I do recommend Patreon. I am one of the sponsors for Mr. B and for Kevin Hinkle. He's a great one to be involved with too. Support his art. And hopefully I'm on there soon. I'm still, I'd still like to have time to be creative, and I'm spending too much time making kits because they sell, which that's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing because it takes time to get the kits done. and get new kits out. I'd like to spend more time getting the new kits out. So, and also thank you, Dave, for joining. You're invited anytime. We will have links to the Brick Nerd. I think it's in very capable hands under your leadership and the team that you are assembling. And I hope to contribute at some point. And thanks for your tips. Look for a collaborative display by this crew at some point. And now we have plenty ideas that our idea man gave us. So I'm sure we'll get some emails from Dave with more ideas. But I really do appreciate it. Please like this episode. Please subscribe to the channel. Every bit helps. And I look forward to seeing you soon.